Hi, you're on the Reddit Confessions channel. If you think one day can't change your life, I'm here to prove you wrong. Because in just 24 hours, I disappeared with our kids, left behind an empty house. And a truth so ugly, she'll never sleep soundly again. It started with a smell, not perfume, not sweat, not even cologne. It was the scent of deletion. I opened the closet that morning to find 3 shirts missing, her go-to ones for special nights. Our laundry basket was untouched, her phone charger was gone, and the hotel shampoo bottle she hated, missing. She didn't expect me to notice. I always notice. I just pretend not to. I didn't ask where she was going. I didn't want to give her the dignity of lying to my face. She left a Post-it on the fridge like we were college roommates, taking a little space. Just for the weekend. Don't overthink it. It was underlined. That was her version of a period. I put the note back, opened the freezer, and fed our boys microwaved waffles in silence. They didn't know that would be their last breakfast in that house. I did. By noon, I had installed tracking software on the iPad she forgot to log out of. I know how that sounds, but if you had even half the gut feeling I had crawling up your spine, you'd have done worse. I watched her pin drop outside a cabin rental in Cedar Hill. Not her sister's, not her friend's. A cabin with only one car in the driveway. I took a screenshot. Then I packed everything. You think that's dramatic? I took the toothbrushes, the family photo off the hallway shelf, even the hideous lava lamp Jude begged for last Christmas. I took our life, piece by piece, while she was in someone else's arms thinking I was home slicing apples for snack time. At 6:43 p.m., I left the thermostat at 50, turned off the lights, and locked the door. I didn't leave a note. I didn't leave her anything, except one thing, taped to our bedroom mirror. She would find it exactly 24 hours after she left, and she'd wish she never came back. What did the note say? I didn't expect her to call right away. In fact, I didn't expect her to call at all. Clarissa has this annoying ability to pretend she's not surprised by anything. Like, she's always 3 steps ahead, even when she's spiraling. But I knew the moment she read that note, she'd break the silence. And she did, exactly 47 minutes after walking through the door. I didn't answer. The note was short, only 8 words. Give this to Ellison. He'll understand everything. That was it. No threats, no begging, no accusations. Just a quiet bomb with a few she didn't see coming. I knew she'd go digging. That's what people do when they feel the foundation shift beneath them. They start looking for cracks they used to ignore. So I made sure to leave a trail of them. Just enough. Just subtle enough. Her emails? I had printed a few and tucked them in the cereal box she always ignored. Her texts with Ellison? Copied and stored on a flash drive duct-taped inside the toilet tank. The receipt for the cabin rental? Folded neatly between the pages of the book she only pretended to read for her book club. But the best part? The part I still think about when I'm lying awake in a cheap motel bed with my kids snoring beside me, was the envelope marked, "For your guest." I left it in the fridge, right next to the almond milk she loved so much more than me. Inside, a single Polaroid, not of them, of me, standing in front of the cabin, holding their room key, smiling like I finally understood the joke, because I did. I wasn't the fool anymore. I was the man who stopped playing his part. And now, all she had was a house full of empty drawers and a truth too loud to ignore. She sent 13 texts that night, 3 voicemails, 2 emails, and a photo of the boy's shoes still sitting in the hallway with the caption, "You really took everything?" I didn't reply. I wanted her to sit in it, to hear the silence echo off the walls, to realize that for once, I wasn't begging or apologizing or trying to fix what she broke. I was gone, but I wasn't done. I told myself I was done with her, that the moment I drove away, I was free. But something about watching her realize I had vanished, without a word, without a fight, felt incomplete, like I needed to see it for myself, like I couldn't fully let go until I watched her walk into that cold, echoing house and understand what it meant to be left behind. So I went back, just for a minute, just to watch. I parked 3 houses down, behind a line of hedges where the streetlight was broken. Harlan and Jude were asleep in the back seat, wrapped in old blankets that still smelled like home. I didn't wake them, I just sat there, in the dark, staring through the windshield at the house I used to love, and the woman who destroyed it. At 8:19 p.m., her headlights turned onto the street, my chest locked up like a vice. Even after everything, my stupid heart still skipped. She pulled into the driveway, calm as ever. There was no rush in her walk to the door. She didn't expect anything to be wrong. She opened the front door like she was walking into any other Sunday night. And then she stopped. I couldn't hear her, but I didn't need to. Her body froze in the doorway. That subtle lift in her shoulders, the way she dropped her keys mid-step, told me everything. She stepped inside slowly, turning on one light, then another. Her silhouette moved room to room, searching. I watched her run upstairs. 10 seconds passed. Then the light in the boys' room flicked on. It stayed on for a long time. And when it went off, that's when she came back out, this time fast, barefoot, phone in hand, pacing in the driveway like the ground had cracked beneath her. She was calling someone. Me, probably. I let it ring. She stood in the porch light, holding that phone like it had answers. I wanted to roll down the window and yell, "Where was this panic when you were slipping away from us one night at a time?" But I didn't. I watched her crumble in silence, and it still wasn't enough, because Ellison was still out there, and he didn't know what was coming. The next morning, I woke up in the back seat of my car with a stiff neck and my youngest son's sock stuck to my shirt. Jude must have kicked it off in the middle of the night, his tiny foot still curled like he was dreaming of dinosaurs or rocket ships, completely unaware that the world he knew had already collapsed. I didn't wake them. I just sat there, staring at the motel ceiling through the window, listening to the buzz of bad neon, and wondering what Ellison's voice sounded like. It wasn't rage that pushed me to drive to him. It wasn't even revenge. It was something uglier, something small and needy and desperate. I just wanted to look into the eyes of the man who broke what I built. I wanted to see if he looked sorry, smug, clueless, or, worse, normal. His address was in her email, cabin rental, Cedar Hill, 2 hours and 12 minutes from where we slept that night. I didn't think, I didn't plan. I just left the kids at my sister's with a bag of snacks and a half-baked lie, and I drove straight there without turning on the radio once. The cabin looked like something out of a catalog. Red shutters, wraparound porch, wind chimes hanging on one side like it was someone's peaceful hideaway. It made me sick. I parked down the road and walked up the gravel path like a delivery guy. My hands were sweating. My knees felt hollow. He answered the door in a white t-shirt, hair wet, barefoot. Casual, like people's wives didn't show up on his porch with weekend bags and borrowed affection. He didn't recognize me, of course, just smiled like I was a stranger. "Can I help you?" he asked. God, his voice was warm, smooth, the kind that probably read bedtime stories without skipping pages. I held up the envelope. "This is for you," I said. He took it, confused. I watched his eyes scan the first few lines, then narrow. His mouth dropped open a little, just barely. "You're her—" I didn't answer. I just turned and walked away while his voice caught in his throat. That envelope didn't hold threats, no demands. Just a single line of printed text and 4 printed photos. "You'll remember me now." And he would. Because one of those photos was of him, stepping out of his car, hand in hand with my wife. The second was of me, watching. The third was a picture of her ring, in my hand. And the fourth, it was a copy of the letter I left her, the one she never saw. The one that said, "This time, I disappear before you do." I hadn't checked my phone in days, but that morning, curiosity got the better of me. I unlocked it, half expecting silence, and instead found 37 missed calls, 19 voicemails, and over 50 messages from Clarissa, each one more frantic than the last. Her words bounced between angry and terrified, confused and desperate. But the one that stopped me cold was the last text she sent before sunrise. "Where are the boys?" Not, "Are they okay?" Not, "Please talk to me." Just, "Where are they?" Like they were misplaced furniture. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about love, or regret, or even panic. This was about control. She had lost it, and now the silence was eating her alive. She had no idea where I was, where the kids were, or what I was planning, and that terrified her more than anything. I didn't reply, but I listened to one of the voicemails, just one. Her voice cracked in places I'd never heard before. She begged me to call her, to come home, to just tell her what I wanted. Then, near the end, her voice dropped, and she said something I'll never forget. "You don't have to do this, Jonah. We can still make it look normal. We can fix this, make it look normal. Not make it right, not make it better. Just presentable. digestible. As if this betrayal could be cleaned up with a couple's therapy appointment and some well-filtered Instagram posts of fall leaves and family pumpkins. That's when something hardened in me. A switch flipped. I had been holding on to some stupid fantasy that maybe, just maybe, she would crack wide open and tell the truth. Cry, collapse. Say the words I'd been choking on for weeks. I was wrong. I was selfish. I hurt you. But no, she wanted damage control, not honesty. So I made a decision. I booked an appointment with a lawyer, not just any lawyer, an old college friend who'd once told me, over drinks, that he specialized in quiet exits. No drama, no drawn-out battles, just clean lines and airtight documents. I told him everything. He didn't blink once, just nodded, slid a folder toward me, and said, "You're 2 steps ahead, Jonah. Most men wait until it's too late." For the first time in weeks, I felt something close to clarity. This wasn't about punishing her. It was about protecting myself and the boys. Because Clarissa wasn't unraveling because she missed me. She was unraveling because she knew I wasn't coming back. And that scared her more than anything. 3 days after she came home to find it empty, Clarissa finally found us. I don't know how. Maybe she called my sister. Maybe she tracked my bank statements. Maybe she just guessed. But when I heard a knock on the motel door at 10:04 a.m., I already knew it wasn't housekeeping. I peeked through the gap in the curtains, and there she was, standing under the flickering vacancy sign like it was some kind of twisted sitcom entrance. And she was smiling. Not wide, not fake, just that tight, composed, PR-friendly smile she wore when she was trying to look unbothered. Like she wasn't unraveling inside. Like this was all a weird little hiccup we'd laugh about later. I didn't open the door. She knocked again, then said softly, "Jonah, please." I brought the boys' things. I brought juice boxes, as if that erased everything, as if that meant she understood what she had done and how deep the cut really went. She didn't say, "I'm sorry." She didn't say, "I miss you." She offered carbohydrates and cardboard. I stepped outside eventually, but only after locking the kids in with the TV on blast and grabbing the manila folder I'd left on the nightstand, containing the signed divorce documents. Her face changed when she saw me. Not because I looked different, but because I didn't look broken. "You don't look like you," she said, and I replied, "That's the point." She tried the usual lines. "We're a family. We can work through this." I was confused. It wasn't serious. But it all sounded like static. I let her talk. I wanted to hear what version of the story she'd built for herself, how she'd filed Ellison under temporary mistake or emotional support. But the truth was, she hadn't come to apologize. She came to negotiate. She asked for a return to normalcy. She wanted a timeline. She wanted to know when she could come back, when we could get back to routine. That's when I handed her the folder. She didn't even open it right away, just stared at it like it might burn her hands. "You're serious," she said finally. I nodded. "No yelling?" she asked. "No point," I replied. She didn't leave right away. She stood there for another minute, watching me like I was the stranger now. And maybe I was, because the man she used to manipulate was gone. The man she left behind had packed up and walked away. And now, all she had left was a signature line, and the quiet. She called me the next day. I answered, not out of kindness, but because I wanted to hear how she sounded after sitting alone with the truth for 24 hours. Her voice was quiet, not broken, not trembling, just hollow, like someone talking from the end of a long hallway. "Can we talk?" she asked. "We are," I said. "I mean face to face." I didn't respond. I let the silence choke her a little. She tried again. "Please, Jonah. I've read the papers. There's something I need to say." I agreed, but only under one condition. She would meet me at the diner on Hartley Road, the one with the flickering O in open. We hadn't been there in years. It was neutral ground, no memories, no photos on the walls, just dry pancakes and burnt coffee. She was already seated when I arrived, her hair pulled back, no makeup, no performance. She looked smaller somehow, less like the woman who used to glide through rooms, more like a guest in her own life. "I'm not going to beg," she said first. "I know," I replied. "You never do." That caught her off guard. She swallowed hard and pulled a folded letter from her bag. "I found this," she said, "in your desk drawer." I read it. "I hope that's okay." It wasn't okay. It was a letter I wrote weeks before everything blew up, a letter I never meant to give her. Just a mess of unsent thoughts, old pain, sentences like, I think I knew long before the hotel receipts. You stopped kissing me like I was real. Some part of me still wishes you'd choose us. She had read my heart without permission. I should have been furious, but I wasn't. Because she looked at me with tears, not the kind that demand forgiveness, the kind that come too late. I didn't know how far gone I was, she said, until the silence hit me. I nodded. Not because I forgave her, but because I finally believed she understood that the echo in our old house wasn't just absence, it was judgment and grief. I wanted to say something, she added, but your letter said everything I couldn't. I stood up. Good. Then we're done speaking. I paid the check, walked out, and left her there. She didn't follow me. Not that time, because even she knew. There's no coming back from finally being heard too late. I don't know what I expected to feel after that diner conversation. Relief, closure, victory. But as I walked back to the motel with a lukewarm coffee and the weight of my own words still buzzing in my head, what I felt was something smaller, quieter, like the first breath after holding it underwater too long. It wasn't joy, but it wasn't pain anymore either. The boys were watching cartoons when I got back. Jude was half asleep, face buried in the crook of his brother's arm. Harlan looked up at me like he was trying to read something in my expression. Are we staying here again tonight? He asked. I shook my head. No, buddy, I said. We're going somewhere better. And we did. It wasn't perfect. The apartment smelled like paint. The couch was secondhand. The windows stuck when you tried to open them. But it was ours. Every picture on the fridge, every blanket on the floor, every laugh bouncing off the wall, it was real. No secrets hiding behind locked screens. No quiet nights filled with doubt. Just us. Clarissa signed the divorce papers. No fight, no drama. I think she understood it was already over long before she packed her bag that morning and thought one weekend away wouldn't matter. She still sends texts sometimes, updates, long, polite check-ins. I answer when it's about the kids, but nothing more. We've both learned how to live in the truth now, and here's the strange part. Life didn't collapse, it just shifted. I started painting again, not for work, for myself. The boys even join in, making messy explosions of color I pretend to hate but secretly love. We play board games on the floor. We burn pancakes on Saturday mornings. We're a little mismatched, a little offbeat. But we're whole. Not because we stayed together, but because I finally let go of the version of love that required me to disappear to make her happy. Now I show up. Fully. Even if I cry during animated movies. Even if I talk too much, even if I hurt, because I'd rather be the man who feels too much than the one who waited too long to feel anything at all. And if you've made it to the end of this story, thank you. Now it's your turn. In the comments, tell us about a historical event or moment that changed everything in just one day, whether for the world or for you personally. You've been watching Reddit Confessions. Subscribe for more stories that don't hold back.